first mission was when I got to Afghanistan. This was a guy who was moving literally tons of heroin. And I was told that he himself had to be removed. He shows up in the room with 2 bodyguards, his 2 brothers. Okay, here I am. No automatic weapon, no pistol or anything like that. All I have is a knife. And I've got 3 guys there, and they're pretty big for Afghanis. Right away I'm thinking, oh God, what's going to happen here? But he sent, they were both his brothers, he sent one brother out for tea and another brother out for cakes, cookies, whatever, refreshments. I'm not going to go into the details of how this happened, other than to say, obviously I was successful because I'm standing here. 3 people were deleted. They were removed. That single act, or those 3 acts, irrevocably changed who I was. The name of the book, the title of the book, Enter the Past Tense, actually refers to me because the day I got recruited and the day I undertook that first mission successfully, I ceased being the person I had been. That person, that naive young guy, and that's me here at 19, entered the past tense. He was never going to be reborn. He was irrevocably lost. My future was set for me. And crossing the border back into Iran, I got arrested. I was with the guy who happened to be carrying quite a bit of heroin, which is packed into the walls of his vehicle. The Iranians knew he was coming. They'd been tipped off. I was with him. I got arrested with him. We were taken off to prison, and for the next several days I was tortured. The next single day or so he was tortured. What they wanted us to do was sign confessions that we were heroin traffickers. I knew if I signed that I was a dead person. He did sign it after one day and he was killed. End of story. I would not sign it because I knew if I signed it I was dead, and even if I was going to be dead eventually, I'd like to put it off. There's always a chance you're going to get out of this. I was strapped to a bench, stomach up, butt naked, arms and feet tied underneath me to the bench, and they would come out with this big belt, looks kind of like a weightlifter's belt, big 4-inch wide thing, and they would start beating me throughout the genital area, throughout the upper body. Good thing about that is you only feel about the first 3 or 4 hits, and then you pretty much pass out. They would take me back to my little cell, which was the size of most people's closets. No place, no bathrooms. I mean, this is not a Paris Hilton type jail we're going to here. Little bucket in the corner. I figured the bucket's there to relieve myself, so I did that. And what they did next is they'd come in, they'd look in the bucket, pick it up and pour it over my head. After several days, they came to me and again asked me to sign. I refused. They said, well, they're done with this story. I've been sentenced to death. I figured that was coming. By that point, I was ready. Led me out into the courtyard and chained me to the wall, hands behind my head, and brought out a firing squad. The book goes into detail about other missions I then pulled that did not involve assassinations. Being fluent in German and Russian, I was dropped into the East Bloc, into East Germany and other places. My job was to get Soviet Spetsnaz, Special Operations soldiers, who wanted to defect out of the country. But I did not write this thing to glorify or to fictionalize even the intelligence business. It has a dark side. Most people, when they read these books, they're looking for the James Bond aspects. Everybody who reads this expects they're going to see me going to bed with beautiful Russian spies, drinking martinis, shaken not stirred, and driving Aston Healey's. You know, real life isn't like that. It was dirty. It's dirty business. And it got to the point, after doing this for a couple decades, of not being able to talk to anybody. The guy that recruited me, who I call Phil in the book, made it very clear that he was the only person I would ever be able to discuss anything with. Nobody else. My wife's sitting in the corner, and she will attest to the fact that during the entire time we were married, I might have said 10 words. As a matter of fact, I far exceeded the words she thought I knew just by standing up here. You know, I was worse than the typical man. My vocabulary consisted of, I'm fine, yep, whatever you want, things like that, because the more you talk, the more opportunity there is that you might say something you're not supposed to say. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of what I did. Again, I did it on orders in the name of the country. I always say I am what I am, but I guess somebody had to be. It had to be done. I wouldn't want my life for my kids. I wouldn't want it on anybody. I happen to fit a certain profile that the agency was looking for. Am I out of the CIA now? Well, I will be when they read this. What I've tried to do here is give you a book with all the warts. Yes, there's intrigue, there's espionage, all that stuff really does happen. The RAF, the Red Army faction, was very active at that time in West Germany. They had blown up a number of soldiers and their families in Frankfurt. And there were these three young ladies, very good-looking young ladies, and their method of operation was they would get soldiers drunk in a bar, they would take them home, and then they would steal their IDs and kill those soldiers and use those IDs to undertake bombings on military installations. We couldn't send soldiers in after them once they'd escaped to East Germany, but they knew they were going to be coming back to do more. So when you can't send soldiers in, you send me in. Now, I'd like to say that a target is a target, but it's a little different when you're looking across and seeing who it is you have to deal with, and they're three good-looking young ladies, and the doubts start going through your mind. Oh my God, they don't look capable of this. But look at my picture. I mean, at 19, did I look capable of something like that? And if you hesitate for a moment, you're lost.